I don't know. It's just this rush into the metals and the mineral industry is just freaking awesome.
It's fascinating, man.
It's yeah, and all these exotic, like molybdenum, cobalt, lithium that we were talking about. There he is.
Hello.
Welcome
Hi.
back.
Thank you. It's great to see you again, Troy, and you too, Skips. It's been a while. But
Yes,
I must
sir.
say, first of all, fantastic show so far. Very, very enjoyable. Good
Thank you.
mix. And a good learning exercise again, as always.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Thank you so much. And we did a show with him in Bell Geospace in this worldwide grav mag and giving us the resolution of these very deep-seated fractures, which we called the plumbing system to the hydrocarbon generation in the last show with Cracks of the World. Also the plumbing system to metals and everything that's going on there. So it's our ability and our focus to make a more integrative and a more broad geologic skill with PBE. That's the information we're bringing. Those are the ideas we're bringing. And sir, your support, your knowledge, your experience to help us through this and to support this is just we're beyond thankful for your time, Mr. Murphy.
It's good to be here. Good to do that.
Thank you. So back to Skip's question real quick, and then we're definitely going to dive into Bell Geospace. Very interested in what you guys got going on. Everybody in attendance has a beautiful 5-6 page kind of synopsis of what's going on with Bell Geospace, and that was in your digital ticket. Definitely a lot of good information in that. But Skips, you were talking about how the mining industry, right? This big rush, there's all this money, all this time going into mining industry. Well, the geoscientists in that industry are getting supplied with funding and supported for new ideas and new technology. I think that's where we're going to see this groundbreaking, incredibly fast adapting and progressive technology and ideas. That's where it's going to be born to the public. That's where we're going to see these new things coming out of. And then right behind that, I think, is oil and gas. They're going to go, that's interesting parallel to how I try to break down my problems. Bang, I'm going to use that technology. So I think it's going to be birthed there, man. That's what I'm throwing it out there.
Too, yeah. That money going back into the geosciences and just funding that exploration and like those, just like that collective mindset within the mining industry is going to bring about some of the best geology I think we've seen in a long time.
That's why we're staying tuned in. That's definitely why PBE is tuned in. We know that we have the geologic skills that we can go across disciplines and across industries. And without question, I think we're going to see this incredibly efficient and this response to totally de-risking investors' money, making very successful projects for everyone involved. Geology is back.
Yeah.
Mr. Combs, sir, please tell us about Bell Geospace and a little bit about you.
Yeah, Bell Geospace. Well, we are the world's leading authority on full tensor gravity gradiometry. It's a technique that measures the rate of change of the gravity field in all directions of the field and allows you to produce very detailed, crisp geological maps of the subsurface. It's a fantastic technology for mineral exploration, for helping with planning of mines, and also in the oil and gas space, as we discussed earlier. Key and a driver to our success is understanding the geology. We always treat it with the utmost of respect. At the end of the day, if you can't get the geology out of your data, then you're going to have a limited time working the project at hand. We also pride ourselves on making the technology work. We've been doing this for 25 years. We've 3 aircraft, and we've acquired surveys in just short of 50 countries worldwide. So we've a lot of skill sets, a lot of good know-how. These days we're on survey work in Southeast Asia. We're gearing up for work in West Africa for gold, and it's a very exciting time. That's a picture of our aircraft. It's a Basler BT-67. Some of you will recognize it as an old DC-3. So we got 3 of those on the go. Moving down there through the little brochure that you've all been given, basically we pride ourselves, our data is superior airborne quality. We have 3 instruments combined into one FTG gravity gradiometry unit. And so it's a bit like measuring the rate of change of the field 3 times, 4 times. We're picking up as much information on the subtleties of the gravity expression of the subsurface geology, and makes it ideally suitable for mineral exploration, mapping the geology, the contact zones, the faults, looking at bedrock, mapping structures and their detail, and getting an estimate of where the mineralogy or mineralization is occurring. You see some wonderful examples there. This one being highlighted in the middle is a ring dike cyanide intrusive complex in Botswana. And you get the multiple colors. The bright whites indicate something that's very high density and it's a great structure. It's got gradient and it's got curvature in it. Whereas the greens and blues indicate that's something that's not so dense, but yet it's got expression. And then you can map the dark and grayed and blued areas are contact zones in your data set. We're very passionate about our processing. It is important to us. The technology has changed dramatically over the 20 years from being a rather low resolution technique to now a very consistently high contact, high precision, allowing us to retrieve and estimate a complete gravity field from all of our individual measurements. We can use that information to do detailed imaging, identify and produce target maps and independent maps and the like. And our latest news is that gravity isn't always about getting the gradient. Sometimes we need to get the long wavelength information from conventional gravity, and we've signed a deal with CMG operations from Perth and having installed a new GTZ, a long wavelength gravimeter, to be a part of the workflow. We have different models of delivery. We can do a multi-client operation or deliver on a proprietary basis where we can design the project and change it on the fly to optimize the budgets at hand. So yeah, that's Bell Geospace in a quick and short nutshell. There's a lot more information out there, of course, and do visit our website and you get a lot more detailed explanation of some of the techniques that we touch on and and that we just provide. Okay.
Well, Mr. Murphy, your experience, your product is obviously very, very interesting as it stands alone. And I could speak to volumes, your ability to articulate the actual physics and the details of what it's actually doing and what it's providing. That is just an amazing cherry on top. I think Bell Geospace is absolutely fortunate to have you helping to spread this technology and helping us to get this resolution we need to really start breaking out these reservoirs and these targets. This plane is awesome. I mean, you said it flies around the world, and pretty much every time it lands, it's so unique that all the plane guys that are hanging out drinking beers in their hangars all day, they all come out and they all look at this plane. They're like, what? Isn't it like a World War II? I mean, the history of this plane is incredible.
It was originally built in the 1940s for World War II, and Basler then in Wisconsin, they take these old aircraft and they recondition them, not change the aircraft design, but just modernize it in terms of avionics and making it work for airborne geophysics and other operations too. But
awesome.
We like it. It's a fantastic
we talk about it on the show. That thing about 300 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
just gravity, magnetics at the detailed level that we need as geoscientists. The technology and the product that you guys provide for us is everything we need. It's now implying the right ideas. That's what we're focusing on, and that's what it's all about. You guys have a worldwide data set. You know what's going on, Mr. Murphy. You've seen it all. Now it's time to spread that message and to get ideas out there that are like, wait a minute, that's what that's actually saying, and that's increasing our probability for discovery. Thank you, Bell Geospace, sir. As always, I love catching up with you, and hopefully it's in person next time.
Yes, indeed. We look forward to it.
Skips, you got anything before we let Mr. Murphy go?
I'm just going to say, well, transitioning recently, I mean, I've been doing a lot of resource evaluation offshore. So understanding what minerals are at the bottom of the ocean floor and having high res gravity and magnetics data for exploration takes you into the exploitation stage much, much faster. Right. Yeah. And Bell Geospace provides that high res data. And like they said, they can change it on the fly as they're doing these, these more space lines. Now you're like, hey, this area looks a little bit more perspective. Let's zone in there. Right. So they can do it on the fly. So you're not just waiting months for your data to come back and then, shoot, now we got to fly over this area because we don't have the resolution that we want. So I think what they're doing at Bell Geospace is just awesome.